Okay. Do I ask for help and from who? And how do others influence the decisions that I make, that you make? So, some factors that you should consider are your past experiences, cognitive biases, which we'll get into detail about all of these, age, individual differences, belief in personal relevance, escalation of commitment. So, your past experiences. Why do you think past experiences have an effect on your decisions that currently are going on? Anyone? Alex, you raised your hand. Yes.
You like
Yes.
think of like the consequences or something. I don't know how to explain it, but like you're more cautious about it.
Yeah, basically, you think about the decisions that you made in the past. That exactly. It stands to reason that when something positive results from a decision, people are more likely to decide in a similar way, given a similar situation. On the other hand, people tend to avoid repeating past mistakes. This is significant to the extent that future decisions made based on past experiences, not necessarily the best decisions. So your cognitive biases, it's when you're thinking patterns based on observations and generalizations that may lead to memory errors, inaccurate judgments, and faulty logic. It also includes, but is not limited to, belief biases, which is the over dependence on prior knowledge in an event, or not prior knowledge in arriving at a decision. Hindsight bias, people tend to readily explain an event as inevitable once it has happened. Omission bias, generally people have a propensity to omit information perceived as risky. And confirmation bias, in which people observe what they expect in observations. Do I ask for help? That is really up to you if you ask for help. Depending on what your problem is, you may need to seek help for it. If it's something you can do on your own, then no. But if it does require a professional, then seek help. Again, same thing. Who do I ask for help? Depending on the situation, you seek help from that professional. Always, if you don't know, ask. You could ask parents, siblings, anybody that you trust, really. How do others influence the decisions that you make? By peer pressure, that's the social pressure by members of one's peer group to take a certain action, adopt certain values, or otherwise conform in order to be accepted. Have any of you been forced to do something because of peer pressure?
Yes.
Like what?
I don't remember.
Eat Brussels sprouts.
There we go.
Okay, that's true. You'd eat something you don't like.
Milk.
Huh?
I had to drink moldy milk.
Moldy milk.
Ew.
Yeah. But
Peer
yeah,
pressure.
sure. Somebody either dared you to do it or something like that. They would dare you to do it, but in other situations, somebody think you're cool doing it, which you're not. Remember that. Like this girl, she didn't want to be hanging out with their friends because they're probably doing drugs. Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
They should always keep calm and say no to peer pressure. And then you have these turtles here that keep getting jumped on by Mario, and the turtle said why, and they stood up to it and left. So you have decision-making styles. So what is a difficult decision? The act or process of deciding, determination as of a question or doubt by making a judgment. So how many of you have ever made a difficult decision? That you think you had a difficult decision?
Sleeping or doing schoolwork?
Oh, Mackenzie?
I know I have had difficult decisions. I just don't know what it is.
Okay. Alex, anything from you?
Maybe. Wait. I think like mostly it's just either like staying up late to finish like a project for school or something, or like going to sleep.
Okay.
That's just
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Brianna and Victoria, how about you guys?
Same answer as Mackenzie. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Malaysia?
How many of you have ever made what you would consider a responsible decision?
Ooh, I've made plenty. I'm just playing. Malaysia? You pop those fingers. You better come in.
Anybody? Anybody think they've made a responsible decision?
Let me see here.
I think I made the responsible decision to go to a better school, by, academic purposes and not for social purposes.
Yeah, that's very true. Have any of you had someone try to convince you to do something that was not right? So, like, sneak out of the house or something. Do something that your parents told you not to do. Any of you? Okay. So 5 ways to make tough decisions faster and not regret them later. You fall back on your values. Having clear values that you try to live by can make tough decisions easier. For example, maybe you know there's a certain amount of time you want to spend with your family, or a baseline level of debt you're willing to carry. When it comes time to a decision about work travel, or taking a new job with a long commute, or making a big purchase, you'll immediately recognize whether choosing a certain course of action would violate one of those values of your guide rules. Talk it through. Some people are verbal processors. They organize their thoughts by talking them out. If that's you, then having a discussion could be your fastest route to a decision. You don't need to speak with someone who's knowledgeable on the topic. You just need a good listener who'll give you time and space to hear out your monologue and occasionally reflect back to you what you've shared. You'll likely come to a decision by the end of the conversation, even if the other person says very little. When you guys have a decision to make, do you talk to people about it? Do you utilize this step? Do you talk it through? Because I feel this is something very positive that you should always utilize. Talk your problems out with people. Somebody is always going to be there that'll listen to you and tell you if you're crazy or not.
Alex, did you talk to anyone when you wanted to go to a different school? Or was it just a decision you made up on your own? Oh, I think Alex is frozen, actually. Oh, no, she's not.
I was muted.
Malaysia, don't hit people.
Oh my god. I asked people's opinions on it, and they all told me to do what I wanted, which wasn't really helpful because I didn't know what I wanted. So,
You get a lot of those answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did it help you anyway to decide to leave your former school and go to prep?
Not really. I just sort of came to it by myself.
Okay. So sometimes you need more than just a sounding board. You actually need advice. Asking someone else for their opinion typically works best when you are considering doing something that you've never done before, and when you know someone who's experienced in that domain. When you're learning or when you're leaning in a given direction already, seeking out wise counsel can help you reach a smart decision faster. Just be careful not to blindly accept advice. A choice that may make sense for someone else might not be right for you. If you find yourself uncomfortable with what they propose, you don't have to go through go through with it. Yeah, go through with it. But you may find the conversation nudged you toward a decision anyhow. Test it out first. So in some cases, you can test out a decision before actually making it. Consider visiting a new city to see how it feels to you before taking that job that you would require you to relocate. Or see if you can chat with any of your potential new coworkers ahead of time. In those moments, you're exposing yourself to new experiences. Your body tends to signal to you whether an unfamiliar situation feels right or just feels off. And 5, listen to your hopes. When you're really struggling with a decision, it's often because your mind thinks one thing is practical while your heart wants something else. Pay attention to what you hope will happen. For example, when you ask a mentor for advice, what are you hoping she'll tell you to do or not to do? Or if you had to make a decision based on a coin toss, which side would you hope it lands on? Were you purely rational creature? We're not purely rational creatures. It's right and good to listen to your hopes because they often give you deeper insight into the decision you actually want to make. So practicing responsible decision making. What does empowered mean? What's your definition for
Having
empowered?
power.
Huh?
Having power.
So being in control, knowing healthy choices, having the power to make good decisions, taking responsibility for your decisions. What does decision making mean?
Where you make decisions?
Yeah, the process of choosing what to do by considering the possible consequences of different choices.
That's what I said, yeah.
What does responsible decision making mean?
Making decisions responsibly.
Yeah, taking steps that will lead to actions that promote health, protect safety, follow the laws, and show respect for self and others. I know they're very self-explanatory, but you got to understand what they mean. Asking questions. What are the question words? You should know this from elementary school.
Why, what, how, when, where?
You forgot one.
Whoops. Wait, that's not one of
Who, what,
there we
where,
who, what, why?
when, why, or how and why.
Does the order matter?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's how people remember them.
Who, what, where, when?
What does an open-ended question mean? I know you guys didn't have to really do open-ended questions this year.
A TDA, obviously.
I really don't know what was just said.
What's going on?
I know.
Okay, sorry,
Question
Mr.
said
Nate. I just found
full-
out there was a microphone on my earbuds, so I'm having fun with it.
Okay. Questions that encourage a full and meaningful answer. They allow you to express your knowledge and feelings about the subject.
I don't have
What does a
feelings.
close-ended question mean?
Well, no. Forget it.
So it's a question that that encourages a short and single word answer.
Oh wow.